If you're self-aware enough to realize that your lack of self-confidence is standing in the way between who you are right now and who you want to become, then that is already an incredible step. In this video, I'm going to break down how to gain more confidence, boost your self-esteem, and start doing the actionable steps that will give you clear results in feeling better, having a more fulfilling life, and actually create situational magnetism for your energy type in human design. So let's get into it. If you're new here, my name is Maika Gabriela and I'm a human design reader, a deconditioning expert, and the founder of the Transformational Human Design Certification. And we now have the Soft Power membership, your online temple, your sacred palace for you to actually find actionable tips and tools to not only understand human design deeper, but start living them out in your daily life. Join now to start your journey of deconditioning and aligning with the right people, opportunities, and chances in your life. Let's get started with the most important thing that I want to break down before I get into all of the 5 energy types, and that is how to actually boost your confidence. So confidence comes through knowing that whatever comes your way, you're able to deal with it. Confidence comes through understanding that you can do something hard and you're able to transcend that. Confidence comes from being afraid, being doubtful, not being reassured, not having a backup plan. Like, the only way you will gain confidence and security is by doing the difficult thing and understanding that no matter if it turns out great or it turns out shit, you have the tools, the resilience, the capacity, the strength, the tenacity, and the courage to deal with the consequences of your actions. So a lot of times we might have issues in trusting ourselves. We might not have a clear vision of where we need to go. But all of those things will always be just a collateral to the fact that you are not confident in your own capacity to deal with shit. And I think this is super empowering, because the moment that you understand that it doesn't matter, or the importance is not on will this decision be the right one? Will this business fail or will it not fail? Will this relationship hurt me or not hurt me? All of those things are variables neither you or I can figure out. The only thing that we can work on is building the inner strength, building the capacity, building that reliance on our own will of knowing that no matter whatever happens in your life, you have the capacity to reframe, you have the capacity to self-regulate, and you have the capacity to understand that everything that is happening in your life is never happening against you and is always happening for your own good. And the moment that we start shifting our mindset, the moment that we start realizing that actually, even if things don't work out the way that we wish they were working out, they're actually better organized for our purpose to come to us than anything we could have ever planned or organized or imagined. This brings such relief when we succumb to the realization that we are actually not in control, but in a positive way, in a way where it's like, I actually cannot control my circumstances in like the destiny realm of things, but I can work on dealing with how to confront difficult situations and how to learn to deal with conflict and pain and disappointment and all of the negative feelings that we fear will come when we do the thing that we need to do, but we don't have the confidence to do them. So once we realize that, we can start building that resilience. We can start building that self-trust and understand that the outcome is never really what we need to focus on, but we need to focus on really strengthening that muscle with our capacity, with ourselves, to know that you are able to deal with whatever comes at hand. And now let's get into how you can boost your confidence for the 5 energy types in your human design. Let's dig deep. One of the biggest confident killers for a projector is not feeling recognized and not feeling seen. And it is really like this loop. The less you feel seen, the more you need people's attention, the more you move out of alignment, the less you're waiting for an invitation, because your soul, your heart craves so deeply to be seen and recognized. So my number 1 tip for projectors to boost your confidence is to really reassess the people that you allow in your life. And start creating boundaries around the people that don't make you feel good. Start creating limits around the people where you don't feel recognized, where you don't feel seen. And I want to share this personal story of mine. In the beginning, when I started my human design journey and I started implementing these tips and tricks that I'm now sharing in the Soft Power membership, one of the things that I realized was that I had to really recognize and not be afraid of being alone, and not being afraid of not feeling like I belong somewhere. And so I had this group of girlfriends where I consistently didn't feel recognized, I didn't feel seen, I felt that nobody understood what I was about, and the whole energy of that group didn't really resonate with my values and who I want to become. And so this was pre-pandemic. The pandemic happened, and so we were all locked up in our houses. There was no other way than to communicate through these like WhatsApp group messages, right? Or like calls. And so even though we were in this very isolated time, I realized I need to have that trust that something more aligned, more better in terms of friendships and community is waiting for me. And often what happens is that we want security before we take the leap. But the universe and energetics are inviting us to take the leap so that the universe can come and hold us through it. So oftentimes we're like, oh, I don't want to like leave this boyfriend until I find a better one. No, I don't want to like quit my job until I find a better one. No, I don't want to let go of this girl group of friends before I have a new group of friends, right? But that comes from a lack mindset. That doesn't come from a real trust in the universe of like absolutely letting go and being like, I believe that the magic will happen and will come to me. And if this is a job situation, I'm talking about friendships specifically, but this is something we can talk more specific. Let me know in the comments if you want me to go deeper into career switching. I actually have a video called Quit Your 9 to 5 where I talk about this, to do the transition from corporate to like becoming your own business owner. Back to where we're getting to. Friendships. So I realized that, the universe is like, oh, you're not happy, but you have a source of energy coming in. So you're fine. We have to close the source of energy we're unhappy with so that the universe comes and like opens a new portal for us to experience new energy in the specific areas we're talking about. And so in that moment, I was like, you know what? I don't feel recognized. These are not my people. I'm gonna close the door on this. And so I was like, listen, this is nothing personal. Love you all so much, but I'm gonna like remove myself from this WhatsApp group. And then the two people that actually recognized me contacted me outside of this WhatsApp group, and we're still friends to this day, right? And the others like just left my life, and that's totally fine. And so I think it's important to understand that as a projector, you're going to have this moment of realization where you no longer need to be engaging in relationships that don't feel nourishing, where you don't feel seen. Your heart needs to have that feeling of expansiveness with the people around you. You have to be seen and loved for all that you are worthy with the people that you have in your life. And I know family can be really tricky. Friends can be tricky. Generally, our relationships with other people are a bit complex. So I invite you to reassess. I invite you to pull back all of your energy everywhere where you're trying to show people how much you're worth. Pull that back. Really focus on assessing the people in your life, removing access or limiting access or taking a step back in relationships where you don't feel seen. My second tip for projectors is that you start learning something that you love. Projectors are meant to go really deep into different subjects, and we oftentimes lose that inertia to start learning something because I'm wasting my time, because there's no way this is going to be a business, I won't make money from that. This is not what it is about. As a projector, you are going to feel drawn to different systems and patterns and esoteric things and learnings, and you need to follow that urge. 7 years ago, when I started to get interested in human design and I started my human design journey, no one would have ever imagined that I was able to build a 6-figure business around human design. No one, including me, never in my life that would have crossed my mind. And look at it now. It has a boom. It has a, like people are interested. And the more we're getting into the new paradigm, the more that information is requested by you. So don't think about the outcome. Don't think about what you can gain. Just do it because you want to be honest to your soul and to your heart, and you want to feed something inside you that is this, like deep longing to analyze patterns, to see things that others don't see. Like that is something that is so innate in the way that you are meant to use your energy, that only that, pulling back energy, closing people off that don't recognize you, and focusing on nourishing and filling your own cup will give you such a boost of confidence. And then once you are learning and you're passionate, without thinking about getting invited, without anything, with the people that you've chosen, that love you, that support you, that are curious, they will start seeing a shift in your energy, a shift in your confidence, and then they will come to you and ask you questions. Oh, what are you learning about? Oh, this is so interesting. And then this is where I invite you to start sharing what you've been learning with them. And the recognition you will get from that will be so beautiful, so heart-opening, so nourishing, so enriching, that will start seeing your own self-worth, filling up your own cup, that you won't need to go outside of yourself to look for recognition, because you are starting to see your own value. And that will make your aura so magnetic that people will start coming towards you, feel pulled towards you to ask you questions. And you will notice that magically people will come and be interested in the things that you are learning about and want to know about. And that is how you start creating new invitations, opening up your circle, getting new recognition, and really starting that healing process of going from a bitter projector to a recognized projector. Oftentimes, the lack of confidence for generators comes from sacrificing too much all the time. And so you are so disconnected from your joy, from your pleasure, from your gut, sacral, creative, sexual, sensual energy that you're looking outside of yourself for guidance, because you're so disconnected from your inner guidance, from your sacral center, that you don't really know which direction to take. And I want you to have a lot of love and a lot of empathy and curiosity for that part of yourself that needed to disconnect from your sacral center in order to feel loved and a sense of belonging and safe in the world. I don't want you to judge it. I want you to have empathy and love and kindness. And when you're ready, you can always ask those parts of yourself that needed to disconnect from your sacral center why they needed to disconnect, and then be open and curious about the answer that come from within you. And so what I want you to understand is that the best way that you as a generator will gain confidence is when you dare to say yes to the thing you're afraid will piss other people off. Okay? This is my YouTube channel and I use the language that I want. So I think this is really essential and important for you to understand. There can be so much fear for you as a generator to saying yes to the things that excite you, yes to the things that are creative, yes to the things that might not be conventional, yes to the things that seem like they're not gonna make money, yes to the things that are, it doesn't matter. You need to follow what your gut is telling you. You need to follow what lights you up, what gives you energy. That is the only way that you're serving consciousness. That's the only way you're actually supporting the people in your life. That's the only way you're going to create the magnetism that your aura needs to pull in the right people, opportunities, and chances into your life. So the moment that you start realizing that it is not about trying to please other people, and that it is not about draining yourself to try to be able to be everything for everyone, you will come back to the actual force, that motor that lies within your sacral center. And once you allow yourself to tap into the joy, the pleasure, the juiciness, that is where your confidence will come. That is where you will exude that radiance, that electricity, that thing that people are like, ooh, who are you? What are you doing? Let's go for a coffee. Come with me. And the moment a generator is connected to that sensual, sexual, creative force, sparks fly. You smile and the room lights up. And that is the energy we need from you as a generator. So what you can do to boost your confidence, and the way that you can start taking actionable steps, is really doubling down on tapping into the little things that bring you joy, that bring you excitement, that light you up. The more energy you put into something, the more energy you get out. That is the sign that you have been waiting for, to understand how you can actually move out of feeling drained, feeling not in your creative energy, burned out, all of those things that make you lose that inner confidence, that inner light, that inner force. You have this well of creative energy. It's really kind of like a fountain that just, that energy, that water wants to come through, wants to be shared with the world. But if you're constantly outsourcing it in little droplets underneath the fountain, it's leaking everywhere, you're not going to have that force to express it in the way that your soul truly desires. So for you to start, I'm going to say it again so that you keep in mind, for you to start feeling a shift in confidence as a generator, you have to dare yourself to say yes to the things you're afraid that are going to piss other people off. Have fun while doing it. There's actually very little that can take away the confidence of a manifesting generator. One of the things that can take away the confidence of a manifesting generator is the judgment you have about yourself and how you're doing things. So there is this deep kind of like fear and judgment that because you love so many different things, because you're passionate about so many different things, because you're actually great at juggling 10 jobs at the time, you're afraid that the way that people perceive you is as insecure, not being clear on what you want, and distracted. And so this is really where integrating your shadow could be so essential to start boosting your confidence. We actually have a shadow integration meditation, subconscious dive in the Soft Power membership, but I'm going to give you a couple of things that I want you to think about when we're talking about shadow for a manifesting generator. So what happens is that the shadow aspect in ourselves is an authentic part of ourselves that is not allowed to be expressed, that we needed to dissociate from when we were little in order to feel loved and accepted in our environment. What happens is that when we see those parts in other people, our projection comes up. Because I was not allowed to have that, I'm going to reject that I see it in you as well. Because if not, it would mean that I will have to accept the pain of rejecting part of myself. And in order not to feel the pain, I prefer to reject you, right? This is like a self-protecting mechanism. And so what happens is that the moment that we understand that everything you don't own owns you, you can start reframing what it means to be a manifesting generator, multi-passionate, and into 1,000 things, and that doesn't mean that you're misoriented, confused, or that you don't have things clear. It is really the moment that you own your experience and you become completely authentic being you own and share your personal experience without any kind of judgment, because the wild thing is that your experience and my experience are completely different, and yet we still feel the same things, but we have to really understand that we don't choose where we come from. We don't choose the experiences we have. Destiny, life, the world, our consciousness has chosen this for us, right? And what makes us really magnetic is when we start owning who we are, when we are unapologetic about who we are. That doesn't mean to be mindless. That doesn't mean to be hurtful. This doesn't mean stepping on other people's feet or not taking into account how other people are feeling around us. But really that sense of wholeness of like, listen, this is who I am. This is what fills my cup. This is what gets me excited, and it doesn't have to work for you and you don't have to understand it, but this is who I am and this is how I operate. I think that is one of the most beautiful things that a manifesting generator can do to boost their confidence, really integrating that shadow aspect, really owning who you've come to be, and that is absolutely fully okay, that is actually your superpower, because when everybody's just looking straight at this one thing because they studied this one thing and they can't look out of the frame that they've like created for their mind, you come in with your 1,000 different perspectives and your million courses that you've taken and your trillion ideas that you've had, and you're like, oh no, let's throw out this box and let's construct like a triangle, and then we put some you have this really different way of approaching things. So you're incredible to disrupt like the common patterns when people feel stuck. And so this is one of the things. The other thing is really allowing yourself to roam free. Like a manifesting generator's energy will get completely nuked if you have to do one thing a day you really don't want to do, okay? Even just one thing can totally piss you off. And so I think it's really important to take that into account, because you need to feel independent. You need to feel that people trust in your capacity. You are such a force of energy and of getting shit done. Like you have such an intense, beautiful effort-making energy. Like you have such capacity to see things through, even though you sometimes feel like you're jumping from one thing to the other. That is actually not true. You just have this fierceness about you and how to get shit done. And you need to feel that people trust you in getting shit done. And once you attain that feeling, once you're able to get shit done and you see things through, that will give you a boost of confidence. This doesn't mean you have to see all things through. This doesn't mean you can be like, okay, I'm done with this. This is not what I'm into, right? But it is important to also have these moments of success where you're like, I started something, I finished something, I'm excited about this. This fills me up. I have a new resource. I have a new tool. Now I can move on to the next. And so sometimes committing to 3-year study programs is not the right one unless you can wear a lot of hats there. Allowing yourself to really understand your fierceness and your strength and your deep independence, and being very clear and communicating in a very non-threatening, an open, vulnerable way to the people in your life, that you need that trust, that you need to understand, that they need to understand that you cannot be held back, that you really need just people cheering you on the sidelines. You know what will boost your confidence as a manifestor? Start talking and see the effect and the impact you have on other people. There is by far nothing that will boost your confidence more as a manifestor than starting to become vulnerable, than sharing your point of view, your opinion, your vision without expecting anything, owning the way you think, the way you feel, and what you experience without trying to make it nicer, without trying to please anybody, and then really sharing that inner creative urge with the world and understanding the impact it has on other people. There is this deep capacity that you have to move through life peacefully. You do not need to use force. You do not need to dominate other people. You are already powerful. You are already a force of nature. So people know that. When you inform, when you open up your closed aura, people already know that. You don't have to make a point. You don't have to prove that you're strong. You don't have to prove that you're dominant. People sense that. You are the kings and the queens and the conquerors of this lifetime. We will bow our head. But you just need to open up and let us see what's going on behind that aura so that we know, oh, we're in the presence of a king and a queen. This is not about hierarchy, okay? This is not about you being better than other people. It is just about understanding the power dynamics. And oftentimes what happens and what kills confidence as a manifestor is that you're trying to move with force, is that you're trying to dominate people because you've heard manifestors are powerful and you're so strong and you have to be big. This big doesn't need to be screaming. This big doesn't need to be loud. This big doesn't need to catch anybody's attention. This big is big because it is. It is the energy that you carry. It is the presence that comes with being a manifestor. It is a natural respect that will come from other energy types. Think about an animal kingdom, right? It is the Lion King that steps in. It doesn't have to be like, hi, the Lion King is coming. No, we will bow down. It's like a hierarchy of the dogs. We know when the boss dog is in town, right? And so the boss dog doesn't have to be barking loud. It just has to own that presence of understanding. You need to understand who you are. And then when you move from peace, from kindness, from generosity, that is when you will notice the biggest impact that you will have on other people. Because what holds you back is this idea of I know I'm a manifestor. I know I'm powerful. I know that I'm strong. I know that I have this important role in my lifetime and in past lifetimes, but I'm trying to use force because I come from lack mentality, because I come from not really being in tune with my bigness, because I feel like I need to overdo it, comes from a lack of understanding, lack of seeing yourself, lack of connecting to the powerful energy that you carry. And then you try to dominate, and that's when people escape. That's when people don't want to hear what you've got to say. That's when nobody comes to support your vision. People will run away. They'll be like, oh, no, this is too much. No, I don't like this. Why is this so uncomfortable? This is too intense. People don't want to be dominated. We're in the new paradigm. Ladies and gentlemen, Pluto now is in Aquarius. So we really need to understand that as a manifestor, what will kill your confidence is trying to force something that everybody already knows. And you don't need to prove your point. So the way that you can boost your confidence is sharing your vision and doing that with the most peaceful, calming intention ever. And I've said it again and I've said it before. The way an aligned manifestor feels is like a steady, smooth, big rock. And the rock is moldable by the water that is crossing its river, okay? But it is there. It is stable. It is something to rely on. It is calm. It is strong, calm, but it is not intense in any way, if you know what I mean. It has a calming, soothing Zen garden vibe. And for you, my dearest reflector, oftentimes you can feel like you're invisible. Oftentimes you can feel, because you don't have dominant makeup in your body graph, that people kind of fly over you, that people don't give you the attention that you know you deserve. And for that, I want you to take responsibility for the way that you engage and interact with everyday circumstances. Your magic and your wisdom comes from diving into that openness. And what happens is that oftentimes, because it's kind of, there's nothing to hold on to when you're this open as you are as a reflector, that it can feel like you don't have solid ground underneath your feet. So you're trying to hold on to energetic dominance that you're taking in from other people and holding on to that, even though that's not authentic to you. And so what happens is that you lose the magic in your life and you're in disappointment. You lose the openness for incredible things to just like enter your energetic field and bring you onto this journey that will allow you to have the wisdom that you're meant to share with the world, that will get people like interested in you and recognizing you. And so for you as a reflector, understanding that over-controlling, need to know everything is planned, this is how I'm doing it and I'm not doing it any other way, comes from a fear of trust in that you're divinely supported. Comes from a fear of trust in your own capacity to deal with improvisation, things happening that are weird or like come out of the blue, surprise. Surprise though is your signature. This is where you want to move into. To create more surprise in your life will create more confidence. And so what I dare you to do to boost your confidence is to actually say yes more to things that are out of your control. Always be safe, right? Don't do anything stupid, but make sure to allow your life to have space so that surprise can come into your life. So unplanned plans turn out. So people can invite you to things. Like create space in your life for magic to happen. Open doors. Stop planning everything out. Stop overanalyzing everything that you do. Don't overreact when there's a change in plans and you're like, oh, no, this is out of my plans. I'm saying no to this. This is out of my control. You need to kind of like dive into and allow yourself to fly into the possibility of a realm where everything can happen, because that is literally what you're designed to do. You're designed to let magic into your life. You're designed to have the wildest life experiences and stories. But for that, you need to open space. So look at your life, audit your life, and look at all of the things that are super rigidly planned, where you're over-calculating, where you are too tight on deadlines, too tight on how you treat people, on the boundaries that you set. Obviously, always be safe. Always make sure that your needs are met. But I need you to really find that sweet spot of opening little channels of possibility into your daily life so that surprise can find you. And the more that you start experiencing that really magical life that you're meant to have, and the more that you realize that you're actually born to be in new environments and meet new people and don't know what is happening and still have the tenacity, the capacity, the strength, the grit, and that wild sensibility that only you as a reflector have to see people, cut through the bullshit, say it how it is, and then move on, transmute and move on, right? Like that is your energetic purpose. And once you step into that possibility, once you put yourself out of that comfort zone and you start exploring your inner comfort zone, your inner genius and your energetic purpose, you will notice an incredible rise in your confidence. If you've enjoyed this video, please like this video, share it with anybody you think that could use a boost in confidence. And as always, please let me know if you have any suggestions for new themes for videos or any questions that you have, comment below. I'm so excited to read everything you have to share with me. It fills my heart to be building such beautiful community. So thank you so much. And remember, I don't care what anybody says, I love you.